All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we are live in full effect with the one and only, the legendary Ness. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good. Pretty good spirits. What's up?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I hope everything is all well on your end, man. Like, this past year and a half has been terrible, but I hope it's treating you as nicely as it possibly could be.
Yeah, I've been on sanction and a new parliament and all this, but I lost some family members, but so I say my condolences to all the people that lost family through this pandemic, or family and close friends to the family, or family members, and there's better days, and we just gotta keep striving.
But I want to take you right back to the beginning of your amazing career, man, and ask you, like, what actually inspired and sparked you to actually get into the music industry initially?
I was a hip hop baby. I grew up in the late '70s, early '80s, so hip hop and breaking and pop dancing, graffiti, and DJing. Those are kind of the things that drew me into the culture. So at an early age, I was doing these things. I was break dancing at the block parties when the DJs would bring out the turntables. Then at age 14, when I seriously sat down and began to write and craft my own rhymes on my own.
And also, man, I also read at the age of 12, you were actually recruited by Mickey Davis of the Bum Rush to help out with performances and tours. I gotta ask you, what was that experience like being at such a young age, as getting into the industry? And of course, like, how did you initially meet Mickey?
It was like a mentorship. Black Key was older than me. He was one of the guys that was into music. That lived in my neighborhood. We grew up in Barton Village Projects, but there's like a housing complex out in Southwest Philadelphia. And being that he was older and more seasoned and more experienced, he taught me, the writing bars and counting bars and creating choruses and just the structure to making a song. So, after that, it transpired. I was asked to be one of the members of the Bum Rush group, where it was a collective of artists from my neighborhood, which was like the best of the best type of thing. So it was like, Wu-Tang before Wu-Tang actually came.
And I gotta say as well, the Bum Rush is actually a phenomenal group as well, man. It must have been such a surreal moment being so young, just being able to be part of one of New York's biggest.
Oh yeah, so it was like, just coming up in Philadelphia, which is a competitive city, and we breed rappers out here, so battle rap was like my way to get my name out there. So I came up early in my career in the battle rap world, in the battle rap field, just honing my skills and testing my talent and getting my confidence up so I could actually, perform in front of a crowd. So that was kind of like my first crash course in performance, was battle rapping.
And I also saw as well that you were actually part of King of the Dot at one point, man, which is actually right down here in Canada. I was wondering, man, how did yourself and King of the Dot get connected? And of course, what was it like just being part of that battle rap league?
So Avocado, he was doing promotions and camera work, and he was kind of like in charge of their electronic, I would say, side of, like the streaming and the promotions of the events, and he brought me to their attention. Organic and Bishop Brigante, and I met Bishop Brigante in 2008, I believe 2010 in Miami, and which is now the Funk Battle Rap League. It was called Grind Time. So the Grind Time, some of them guys kind of like, kept it going with King of the Dot. So, I was brought over by King of the Dot by Avocado. Avocado is no longer with King of the Dot. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but during the time that I was introducing them, he was doing a lot of things for them, and, he had came to Philly to co-host an event and actually be the cameraman and stream the event, and I put on a good performance against Cortez, and then he brought me to Organic and Bishop Brigante's attention over there at King of the Dot, and ever since then I've been rocking and rolling over there. I've had 4 matches over there. I battled Thesaurus, I battled Passwords, and I battled B-Magic. I'm sorry, 3.
And I remember your battle you did with Pass as well. I gotta say, man, you destroyed him, man. I gotta say, that was probably one of the best battle raps I've seen in a long time.
Your Passwords is a West Coast legend, so is the Stars, and, you know, I've had a illustrious career battling, you know, worthy opponents like Iron Solomon, Arsenal, Shotgun Suge, Chef Trez, Franchise. So I've got a list of who's who on my resume.
And also as well, you were actually had the opportunity to appear at Amateurs Night at the Apollo Theater in New York City. I have to ask you, what was that experience like for you, man? Because like they always say, if you can make it at the Apollo, you can truthfully make it anywhere.
It was amazing. Me and the Bum Rush, we had won a talent contest out in Philadelphia. The prize was performing on Amateur Night at Showtime at the Apollo. So it was like, you know, it was me reconfirming that, you know, I had the goods to actually make it in this business. And, you know, going to the historic Apollo in Harlem, New York City is just iconic. And, you know, we was well received towards the end of it. We got some light boos, but we came out, and I actually forgot to rub the stump. But what makes the story so crazy, 2 years after that, I had made the group, the band, on Badboy, and we got to perform there probably like 2 years after, and then, you know, the crowd went crazy. So it was crazy for me being an amateur, performing on amateur nights. 2 years later, me actually being a professional artist and performing in front of the Apollo Theater.
And one thing I have to ask as well, because like as we already know, you're actually signed. I believe you're currently signed to Badboy Records right now. And I gotta ask, how did you initially get connected with Puff Daddy? And of course, what is it like being signed to one of the biggest record labels of all time?
Well, currently I'm not signed right now. I've been not a member of Badboy like roster since '09 when he went to seek out further distribution from Interscope. I was signed from 2002 to Universal Records when I made the group, and then in 2006 I was offered a solo deal by Warner Atlantic Music Group, and they did a merger with companies, and I was asked to have a solo effort on that imprint. But I was been signed to Badboy since 2002, so I was actually up there 2002 to 2009. But it was a great experience. You know, Sean Combs became my mentor, and I soaked up a lot of the game and just a lot of the of tactics on recording and post production, and just a lot of things that I was unbeknownst to before I got there. So it was definitely a learning experience, and you know, sometimes you don't end up finishing the game with who you started with. So, you know, I learned a lot of valuable lessons, a lot of valuable life lessons, and the music that I created was great, and I was, you know, offered some writing opportunities, and I also gained, you know, platinum plaques and gold plaques for writing on his albums that came after being out. Press Play was one of them, and Burger King picked it up for a commercial, and then it was actually in an MIB International movie 2 years ago. So one song, two checks, 15 years.
Hey man, I gotta say that's actually not too bad at all, man. And speaking of Diddy, man, I look at it like this, man. He was Biggie's mentor. He helped put so many amazing East Coast talent up in the music industry, man. So you most definitely had a phenomenal mentor.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. My hat goes off to him for being a black man and coming up in corporate America. Just really putting his feet in the sand and playing this flag and just doing so many things with hip hop and the fashion culture, you know, just TV, movie, film, liquor. He's just so like has an expertise in so many vast areas of entertainment and music, and just being a mogul, just being the trendsetter that he is. So, like I said, I still talk to him from now and then, and he still mentors me from time to time. He still, you know, checks in on me and pokes his head through the doors, see what I've been working on and see how I'm doing, and checks on the family. So I would never publicly go against that man because I've been working in 25 years, and so it only took me one time to audition in front of Puff for him to know that I had the goods.
And also as well, you were actually on Diddy's reality show titled Making the Band, where you were actually billed under, like, you were actually part of the group titled The Band. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about that experience, and of course, what was it like just being able to be in that reality show?
He was the first black all reality cast, and we went head to head with Osborne's reality show at that time. So we had a really big impact, and it was new, and we kind of came up this theme of the real world. And the first making the band group was called Old Town. They were from Orlando, and we were the second installment of that legacy. And then our success. Plus, to do bigger and better things. And he had two more installments, which were Vanity Kane and Day 26, which Vanity Kane actually went platinum, and Day 26 they scored a gold record.
And I gotta say as well, that show was absolutely phenomenal, man. I remember watching the first season, but then I couldn't watch the other ones because I ended up losing my cable at that point. But I have to ask you, how many seasons did that show actually go for?
We recorded for 13 weeks. We had 3 seasons. So, yeah, we had like almost like 69 seasons, 69 weeks of recording. And at that time, we had all cut off from the outside world. We couldn't use our personal phones. We all had to use one phone to talk to our different managers and different families and, different people that supported us. So, that caused conflict within the house. But it was a really good experience. And we had a lot of physical training and a lot of mental probing and, like a lot of artist development that you don't see in hip-hop industry today.
And also, in September of 2003, the band actually released their first album titled Too Hot for TV. I was wondering, what's the story and inspiration behind that phenomenal album? And what was it like actually just being in the studio and creating that instant classic?
Well, Puff Vision was to have a hip-hop supergroup, so, it was Byron, he provided the reggae Caribbean island type of vibe. Me and Fred and Chopper, we were street rappers. I was from the East Coast, I was from Philly. Chopper was from New Orleans and Fred was from Miami. And then we had the singer from Detroit, Port Huron, and Charlotte. And then we just had the Brooklyn raw potential and amazing skill set of Babs, the first lady. So, we were from all different walks of life, so we took some time adjusting and getting comfortable with each other to build that chemistry up. But once we got things rolling, we actually scored a gold certified RIAA plaque for our first album, Too Hot for TV. So it was successful. It wasn't super successful, but we definitely got the wheels turning. And before we could drop our second album, we was all dismantled. And that's when I was asked to stay for a solo effort in '06.
Hey, it's not every day you receive a plaque for your first project, man. So I gotta say that's absolutely phenomenal.
Right, it was an amazing feeling, and like I said, it was reconfirmation that I definitely had it what it takes to survive and be a mainstay in this game. And it's been 15 years since then, and I've still kept a seat planted in the battle rap world. URL, King of the Dot, Rare Breed Entertainment, the Battle Academy. I've had some epic losses and some epic wins, and just a roller coaster ride, and it's been fun, and I'm still happy to be competing at a high level and still making music. And the digital world has made it so easy for artists like me that once was introduced to the world and then got lost in the sauce. But Instagram and social media has made it, gave me the instruments to reintroduce myself to the world and to gain a younger fan base and a more type of a broader audience that can grow with me. I mean, instead of just just writing me off as, oh, he was on Making a Band and we don't know what happened. And social media gives you that outlet and that platform to always put out content and to please your audience.
And the one thing I have to ask you, and I do want to say my apologies first and foremost, Ines, because you probably got asked this a million times, but what is one of your most memorable battle moments? Just in the battle scene, man, because you've had some phenomenal battles.
Well, my Iron Solomon battle on Grind Time is what legends are made of, and being on a Summer Madness too, which goes down in history as one of the most biggest, influential, impactful battle events in history. And it was held by the URL, which was Smack. And Puff was there, Busta Rhymes was there, Q-Tip, Nicki Fax, time, and it just was a who's who that was in the building that night, and that's when Loaded Lux came out with the infamous coffin, and he pegged the famous slogan, "We gonna get this work." So a lot of things happened at night, and I was glad to be a part of it.
And also as well, jumping ahead to last year, on January 10th, you actually released one of your most recent EPs, titled Session Files. I was wondering, what's the inspiration behind that phenomenal EP, and of course, where can our listeners buy or stream themselves a copy today?
Yeah, well, the Session Files are downloadable on all platforms, streaming on all platforms, and mostly all the big platforms. It's definitely up there. You can go stream it or download it. And it's up there for downloading purposes. And, you know, be my guest. And it's kind of like with Nas, when Nas had the Lost Tapes, it's kind of like the inspiration behind this one. It's a collection of music I've done over the years. Some was unmixed, some was reference tracks, but it was just a collection of my thoughts throughout the years where I've been dormant. So I decided to drop the Session Files to let everybody know and bring them up to speed of what I've been doing and the trials and tribulations I've been going through in my life with my music career.
And I gotta ask you as well, is there any hard copies available out there? Because we do have an audience that really does still love that hard copy format, but unfortunately, this day and age, not a lot of people are really buying up CDs nowadays.
I know it's funny that you say that because every time I post hard copies on my social media outlets or platforms, I get a lot of comments saying, "You still selling CDs?" So it's like we're trying to bring the nostalgia back of actually having the hard copies. So my last project that I put out was called "Let Me Borrow This Beat," and it's a collection of freestyles over current hip hop beats, vintage hip hop, old school classic beats, and hosted by DJ Alamo with a coalition DJ pool. So that's well received, and I've got a lot of downloads, a lot of traffic. So we just gaining momentum, and we finished up 2020 strong, and we fit to have an even stronger 2021. So I'm excited. I'm happy to see what's going to happen.
And I gotta say as well, like kids nowadays are never gonna know or understand how amazing CDs are. Like what I normally say is you can't hold a digital copy. You can hold your phone, but nothing is better than picking up a CD, being able to read the thank you notes and the composers. You know what I mean? Like just reading the credits while you listen to the CD is nostalgic.
Right, long days, long are gone are the days where you get up early, or you might take time off when you work in your lunch to go to Tyler Records, or when you go to big record, corporate record retail stores that used to sell music. So people would never know what it feels like to hold it in your hand and read the back of look at the artwork and read the back and see who produced what and who added additional vocals and where the samples came from and stuff like that. So we're trying to bring that back little but surely. But it's going to be a rough time because the digital world made everything so fast paced. People get to select music and pick the music that they like. And back in the day, you had to listen to the whole album, or if you didn't listen to the whole album, you just had 3 or 4 songs that you really love. So now people just singles is going platinum, and people only like your single. They might not like your album, but they like your single, so they even buy your single. And then the ringtone era came in. So I went through like 3 or 4 transitions, and the music changed, and the music business changed, and the way people recorded, received, and produced, and distributed music changed. So you just got to keep up with the times and, just kind of bend towards, what the people want and supply the people. Then you're going to be able to usher in, your new wave or your new world order per se of how you like people to receive and distribute your music.
But I gotta ask you there, Ness, what is next for you, man? Like, is there anything I happen to miss during this interview? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still have you here live on the Canadian airwaves.
Yeah, shout out to the Canadian Airwaves, 97.7. I just, DJ Mortal, thanks you for having me on here, and I just want to let everybody know I'm still dropping content. I'm still as deadly as when I came in the game the first day, and I'm excited about, just getting back out there into this culture we call hip-hop, and putting out new content and battling top-tier artists.
And I just gotta say, first and foremost, man, I actually have to say, you know, I grew up listening to your music, man, and I gotta say, you're, in my perspective, you're one of the best battle rappers out there, man. And I'm really looking forward to hearing you destroy some more hip hop artists in the years to come.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it, man. The love is well received, and the feeling is mutual. And much continued success for you and your show, and I hope to be a repeated, guest of the show and family of the show.
Hey, man, most definitely. I just gotta say, you know what I mean? Anytime you want to come back, you know, just send me a message. We most definitely can make it happen. Because I know with this interview, we didn't even touch base on a sliver of your entire career. So I know we most definitely will have a lot more to talk about.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate the love, man. Anytime, hit me up. Let me know.
Hey, man, most definitely. Same goes to you. But I gotta say, Ness, for now, most definitely stay safe out there out in New York. And down the line, we'll definitely make this happen again.
Appreciate you, bro. One love.